Morning viewer, welcome to our Fossak TV. Here is the breaking news. Yes, one of the most striking features of Indian society is the theme of good governance and administration for the multi-faceted development of each and every individual has been part of its essential political tradition since time immemorial. It is well documented that the legendary king Rama practiced simplicity in life and worked for the welfare of all his subjects. His consort Sita described him as the support of the poor and the oppressed. Commandment goes, no one should remain poor. All people, both men and women, should be equally happy. Lord Rama advised the future rulers to think and act according to time, place and circumstances. To the rulers, duties towards their citizens have continued to inspire the conscience in India throughout the history. The final version of almost all our ancient scriptures command rulers to work for people's welfare. In Shanti Parva, the dying Bhishma tells Yudhishthira that in the protection of the people lies the justification of the state. He warns that hunger of even one person in a kingdom renders the life of the king meaningless. Emphasizes that non-violence is our highest dharma. Ahimsa param tapasya. At the same time, the state must protect the weak, the exploited, the helpless and the oppressed from the strong. Cotullo says, in the happiness of the people lies in his, that means the king's happiness, and in their welfare, his welfare. He says that the total salary bill of the state should be kept at about 1/4 of the revenue collected. Cotullo pitches for a legal system capable of protecting the poor from the tyranny of the powerful, including the state, that is called Murli. Yes, so many things. In modern times, the Constitution of India preserves all the pro-people values of the scriptures. It directs the government to ensure that there is an equitable distribution of national wealth and it fosters all inclusive development. Our Constitution directs the government to see to it that there is no concentration of wealth in the select hand. One, however, finds the economic development in post-colonial India has hardly been all-inclusive. No doubt, India has made a lot of progress since former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao introduced major economic reforms in a recent media interview. International Monetary Fund's Managing Director predicted that India was likely to retain a high growth rate of 6.8% in the current year and contribute around 15% of the global growth. But this progress has done little substantial to promote the well-being of the common people in the country. Authentic studies reveal that certain groups within the government as well as the private sector have over the years come to manipulate the systems and amass disappropriate assets. And our national sense is still one of massive poverty, illiteracy and score. Income inequality has risen astronomically across the country. Just 1% of earners garners as much as 73% of the total wealth generated in the country. Over 833 million Indians are living in rural areas in the country. Opportunities for their proper education, health care, environment and employment are woefully inadequate. Over 45% of our child mortality is due to hunger or undernutrition. Over 600 million people in the country face high to extreme water stress today also. Over 2 lakh people die every year due to inadequate access of safe water. In the 2022 Global Hunger Index, India ranked, in the 2022 Global Gender Gap Report, India ranked 135 out of 146. Observers say that one of the main reasons for this state of affairs in our country is that too many corrupt, criminal, casteist and communal elements have penetrated into almost all political parties in the country. They have had the least commitment to our scriptural and constitutional value. Most of them just see some big dreams to the people at the time of election. In practice, they have remained undemocratic and feudal. To them, their own economic prosperity comes first. As a result of the presence of such elements in our politics and governance, our state has found it hard to adequately advance in the spirit of India's ideal versions of democracy for all inclusive human development and happiness. The predicament demands that our citizens come forward and assert the finer values of our scriptures and constitution. They must take steps to get rid of the corrupt and criminal elements present in our system. The citizen could exercise their right to franchise in accordance with our constitutional value. They could elect only such person to power as would make the law to checkmate the corrupt from entering politics and government. Under the present law, a convicted politician is disqualified for contesting elections only for 6 years after they are released from prison. This must change to purge the convicted out of the system forever. The observer recalled that architect of our constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, had warned us against a long time back. Ambedkar said the constitution can provide only the organs of state such as the legislature, the executive and the judiciary. The factors on which the working of those organs of the state depends are the people and the political parties they will set up as their instruments to carry out their wishes and their politics. The observer warns against expecting much from our current legal system in this regard. They say it has by and large been elitist in its functioning. A few years ago, our Supreme Court asked the center to establish special courts to try politicians facing criminal cases. The court directed that all cases against allegedly criminal politicians be disposed of within 1 year, but it has hardly cared to monitor the compliance of its directive. Beyond the effort for Shakti TV.